I knew he was sick. Because you know when someone's sick and you're just like, oh, it's like a grandpa. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like you need to go scrub everything.
It's oozing from the pores.
It was, and he goes, oh, he's like, I'm gonna get you sick. He's like coughing, and I was like, I said, listen, I go, I lived with you this long. I said, if I haven't gotten anything by now, I'm definitely never going to get sick at all whatsoever.
It's because you wear a hazmat suit when you guys fool around.
Cut that out. And with that being said, welcome to Do It Like Danny. I'm going to tell a million stories, and maybe one will hit home, and you'll be like, wow, that happened to me. And it's not about me. What is? You know, television is a very, very crazy beast. I learned so much at Tyra. This is real emotion. This is something that I experienced.
I want the world to see what I have always seen, and that is the love that you have for just being yourself.
I love this person who knows who he is, who can make people laugh.
I think the script I gave you was a little bit different, but I'll take that.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm drinking at work because it's my show. I drink on my show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this brunch edition to Doing It Like Danny.
We should have a brunch, like a pancake breakfast.
Louis, stop. He like thinks about it after. I'm like, hello.
We're still waiting for weirdos.
Oh, trust me, so are we. They're closed.
Oh, poor weirdos.
I know.
But we
Don't you have the inside with Leah, Daniel?
I'd love to have the inside with Angelo.
Not me. Leah's not X.
Dirty Leah, Dirty Leah Remini's. That's a good Bloody Mary. Oh, we have Oprah Chef. We flew in today. We're here in Montecito, and we're enjoying our lovely libations here, as I said before. It's a beautiful day. It's so gorgeous. We're taping early because, you know, of course, obviously Montecito has like a heat wave. And we want to escape the heat before it gets too hot. And we want to get in the pool today also, too. So, you know, it's lovely here at Doing It Like Danny's cousin Angelo's compound.
It's always great to have you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if Louis is awake yet, though.
No.
He's not.
I'm
He's
not
not.
awake.
Yep.
I'm not
I
awake.
mean, for God's sake, man, it's 2 p.m.
Puffy.
That's why I'm trying to talk like this.
I need ice packs around my face.
If I look surprised because I'm trying to, like, you know, I don't know about you, but like when I sleep at night now, I get like wrinkles, which I like never have. So I'm just like, what is that line?
It's all
Like,
drying
from the
out at
pillows,
night.
right? It's from the pillows. And I'm like, I have like 9 pillows. I sleep like, what's that, like a concubine?
Josh, you're
I
like-
sleep like a concubine, or like, no, a geisha. I have like a little hook in the back of my neck, and I'm like,
They're all silk.
they're all silk. So I don't even know why I get those pillow lines. I guess it's just I'm getting along. I'm going to turn 27 soon, so it happens.
It
happens
happens after 25.
happens. Damn it.
Yeah, Louis, do you have pillow lines?
I don't yet.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah.
I'm not
You're
there.
still
I apologize.
Angelo wants to be like, because your face is always
Yeah.
in the pillow. I know. I knew you wanted to go there. I know you wanted to go there. I know it was creeping under that, under your like your evil hat, your
I'm
evil
hiding
hat.
today.
Yeah, me too. Because I was like, oh, the sun. I don't want any more wrinkles.
So I think Louis touched on this earlier, but I'm just curious because I didn't hear.
Uh-oh.
Any update on the quitting firing?
No update on the
Resignation?
quitting firing. No, I got my last paycheck.
Oh.
Yeah, did she
Yeah.
give you your 2 measly hours?
No, well, yeah, my 2 measly hours. No, but there was no gas money sent to me. I'm like,
course.
whatever. So that, you know, that just goes to show you nothing ever comes for free. So we know she bought a hamburger, she paid for this or whatever little things. In the end, you still pay. I'm sorry. In the end, you still end up paying.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. I had a little Bloody Mary, so sorry.
How much were your lip injections?
It was like $150.
Okay, so that's a
150.
gallon
Yeah,
of
so
gas.
basically,
Or
yeah.
That's
I guarantee
I
you
got
that's
a-
how she looked at
I got
it,
a
too.
discount
Yeah.
on my but like I don't want to talk about her anymore. Like
Yeah.
let her go live in peace and you know go
I'm just curious. And
go
the tattoo?
manipulate who she needs to manipulate, and that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, it was like I was tired of being manipulated.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happier. And listen, I had a great week. I had a great week, and yes, I'm driving a little bit more, and that's fine. I'm gonna find something soon. I mean, I know it's hard because you know you wanna you want to get into something that's going to be more rewarding in terms of, I want to help people, right? Television was great. Television was fun, and it has afforded me the lifestyle that I was able to lead and live, right? It's a little bit different now, and I don't think that's such a bad thing. I think that when I was at my poorest, I was the happiest in a weird way. I mean, the more money you make, it does bring more problems. Yeah. And listen, you think it's the end all, but it's actually not sometimes.
I don't know necessarily of problems, but more responsibilities.
Yeah.
In some regards. But you had a lot of balls in the air yesterday, so I'm not surprised you were busy.
Yes, I did pick up a rider who had a hole in his pants and was flashing his bits o pieces and pieces o bits. And I was trying to get my camera to focus and try to take a snapshot, but I couldn't. Obviously, I was not good at that. But yeah, it was I actually have some shout outs though. So I have shout outs that are way long overdue. The first shout out, I have to shout out to a very good friend. Actually, I went to high school with him.
Oh, okay.
And his name is Ricardo or Ricky or Rick. I mean, he has like all these different names. And so I went to, what'd you say?
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin. No, could you imagine Ricky Martin? Oh my God. We would not be here right now. We'd be on the Miami compound shooting Do It Like Danny. Okay?
Miami? Oh my God. Miami?
Miami. I'd be like, Ricky, we're in Miami.
In Miami?
Yeah. Not Montecito.
Oh, God.
But it is beautiful here, yes.
Quickly we get downgraded.
Our sound problems would be like, oh, the crashing waves. Oh, they're so loud.
Bro, you would come in every time with Ricky picking you up and putting you down.
He would. I would have Ricky. And then what's his partner's name? Because I'm not jealous. I mean, I think that,
They're divorced.
Whatever.
They're divorced.
They are?
They are, yep.
How did that happen?
It happens.
Wait, hold on.
Why didn't we report about that?
Let's go back to the shout-outs. We'll come back to this one.
Sorry, Ricky.
This shout-out was long overdue.
I got to research.
Yeah, Ricky. So, Louis, yes, you're right. Back to Ricardo. And as I mentioned before, we went to high school together, and we were kind of like the nerds. I wouldn't say we were the nerds, but we were like, I went to a high school that was very high in the Asian population.
Huh, interesting.
So a lot of pressure. I had to be smart, which is why I left 5 minutes later. So Ricky was there, and Ricky was popular because he was like this little guy. He was like, super short, and everyone loved Ricky because he was just a little guy. And then I think he went through some and Ricky, you're going to hate me for saying this, like hormone therapy or something, and then he grew.
He became 7 feet tall, right?
He became he's 8 feet tall now.
I hated those guys in high school.
No, but he was great because we would just have the best laughs, and we danced.
Oh, nice.
He's a dancer. And then years later, I met up with him again in West Hollywood. We ran into each other.
So he's in the community.
He's in the community.
Oh, okay.
Not with a capital T, but in the community. Yeah. And the reason why I bring him up is because he sent me a message, and he said, I enjoy the show immensely.
Oh, cool.
He says, just you. And I said, oh, thanks.
Well, you looked at me when you said you.
He didn't say that. He was like, your hat says F you. No. But Ricky, thank you for listening on your night shifts. He's in the nursing, or he does caretaking, I think, also similar to what I do.
So
but
we keep him awake with all our craziness.
Yeah. So he says, thank you so much. It really makes the time go by.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's great.
We want to give a shout out to Ricardo. Thank you for listening. Thank you. And I have more shout outs. Okay, so my friend Philip came this past week, and we had a day. Like, he was looking for sheets. We went shopping. We had pancakes at Cece's, which maybe Louis will show you later.
Isn't that your mother?
Right.
Isn't that...
So Cece's, have you ever been to Cece's in Tarzana?
No.
Oh my God, we have to go. Okay, so Cece's in Tarzana, the story goes, the lore, is that Cece used to work at Jinkies, which, do you remember Jinkies on Ventura?
Yes.
Back in the day, you could not
get a table.
Sell your firstborn to get in to get a table, right? They were like, who are you? Literally the 2-hour long wait. It was almost every single day.
Wow.
Well, Cece was a server there. And I would go all the time, with my ex, and then through the years with Cheesecake people and so on and so forth. Anyway, she was fabulous. The best attitude. I didn't know that she was partly responsible for making up Jinky's menu.
Oh.
And the lore goes that when the owners either decided to expand, or they wanted to do something. She said, if you make me partner, I'll buy in, and so on and so forth. And they denied her.
Ooh.
So she ended up saying, okay, I'm out. And out she left. She opened up her own place. And it is packed all the time.
Oh, nice.
And the sad part is, Jinkies isn't packed anymore.
No.
I mean, you could literally fart and they'd be like, nobody would ever know. It's
it
so
would echo.
dead now.
So it's safe to say she was the magic probably at Jinkies
she was
at
probably
one
the
point.
magic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's the lore, right? So when you go to Cece's, it's not to be mistaken with that dirty pizza place, Cece's Pizza Parlor. But Cece's in Tarzana, and they do all these. She makes, all these different pancakes, and the ones that you saw, maybe you can take a snapshot and show them. Are the green tea tiramisu pancakes.
Ooh.
Were they good?
Oh, they're delicious. I don't even know how to say it, but they're like these delicious, fluffy pancakes, not dry, always moist. Honestly, you could eat them by themselves.
Oh, wow.
Okay, they're so delicious. And then they pour this green nuclear, I don't know what it is. Why is this
Just use your tail.
And Montecito, we go from mosquitoes to flies.
It's because Portia is riding her horses. The flies are around.
So the pancakes are beautiful. They put this delicious green nuclear sauce over it, this green tiramisu yummy sauce. And we shared them, and they're just absolutely decadent. They also make those souffle pancakes. Have you seen the pancakes that are super thick?
Oh, yeah.
They make those too, which is oh my god! All of the food there for breakfast is amazing.
I gotta try this.
I'm getting hungry now.
I know.
I need more Bloody Mary.
Breakfast of champions.
So I know that I'm giving you lots of backstory, and the reason why is because there's history there. And so I took Philip. Well, Philip and I had a day. We went all over the place. We were at Home Goods. We went to different Target. We were everywhere. And then we spent so much time together that we ended up, he was like, we should go grab a snack. Because it was already 6 o'clock, right? Or 5 or whatever. And he goes, let's go to the Cheesecake Factory. And I was like, oh my God, I have not been to Cheesecake Factory in forever.
Wait, which one did you go to, though?
The one that I used to work at. Well, I used to work at 100 of them.
You
but
did.
I went to the Sherman Oaks one.
Okay.
The one he was 86th at.
Yeah, right? I mean, positivity. And so you go there. So I have to say this, and I always will precursor this with every single Cheesecake Factory story that I will ever tell in my entire life until the day that I leave this plane, earth, whatever you want to say we're on. And so Cheesecake Factory, and this is not a negative hit. Well, kind of is.
It is. It's not the same.
They've ruined me for the rest of my life to ever enjoy the Cheesecake Factory. Because when you go in there, back when I worked there, there was a level of respect. There was a level of professionalism that was required from every single staff member.
Yes.
Right? It's changed over the years because, of course, companies have to adapt. And I think that Cheesecake Factory not burned bridges, but there were so many servers that were probably really good that got passed over for positions. Anyways, in this lifetime, if you ever run into someone, I'm pretty sure they've worked at a Cheesecake Factory, right? So what they had to do is they had to open up their spectrum, if you will, because before when I went in, you had to have 2 years experience of serving in a restaurant. You had to have alcohol experience. You'd have all these different qualifications, right? Not anymore. Now it's like if you worked at Applebee's, no offense, Applebee's. If you worked at, Taco Bell, whatever, it doesn't make a sense. I worked at Taco Bell, so settle down. And, it doesn't make a difference now. They don't really require to take anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a mean, negative way, but I guess that kind of gives anybody an opportunity to kind of have a first chance to be a server, right?
Yeah.
Whether you are good or not.
Right.
So we go to the bar and we're sitting there, and it was a daytime bartender. I don't know her name. She was not personable at all whatsoever. She was looking like, I need to get out of here. I'm doing my side work. I don't care who you are, but I need to get the fuck out, right?
Yeah.
And because I know people there, of course, one of the busters came over. His name is Martine. He came over and he's like, oh my God, and was hugging.
So you still know people who work there?
Yeah.
Wow.
For I think 30-some years he's been there.
Shit.
Yes,
My
that's
God.
crazy.
How long have you not been there?
I haven't worked for Cheesecake since 2002
God, that's
Yeah.
a long time.
or 4. It's been 20
20-something years
years.
ago.
I've been over 20 years. And I worked for them for 10.
yeah.
Opened up multiple restaurants, just like Philip had also too. So, we begin the process of eating, and then I see a staff member who I've known that's been there also too for a very long time since I was working there, and her name is Wendy. Hi, Wendy, from the bakery. And Wendy's been in the bakery for years.
Wow.
So it was interesting to see her, and she's great. And then I saw a friend of mine named Karen. So Karen also is a server, but she was an expo, and the expo was responsible for the food. So it was great to catch up with them. And Karen, thank you for listening to the show. I know, Wendy, you don't listen to the show, but you're gonna start listening because I told you we're giving you a shout out, girl. But Karen, thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. Going back to, and I've said this before, I'm always surprised when people tell me, or they tell me about certain things about the show, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I agree, Cousin Angelo has to go. I get it, right? And so,
I love those references. Keep them coming. Such great feedback.
my market research.
They're not sure about that other cousin.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, I was shocked. I'm like, wow, it hits me in the heart.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate it. I never expect it. But when you hear things like that, especially from people that I've known, and it just, I don't know, it elates me.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good, and that makes me want to do better, and it makes me want to tell more stories and do more things, and really, and mention the people, right, that are listening
Yep.
to the show.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
deserve it. If you're putting in the time and the effort into listening to Angela, I mean, do it like Danny. I want to give back to you. I want to mention, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Wendy. Yes, thank you, but soon you'll be listening. So back to the Cheesecake story. So, of course, I got an opportunity to catch up with them. But again, going back to how Cheesecake has ruined my life forever. Again, not in a bad way. In a good way. So we order our food, and now there's a shift changeover. It's like the changing of the guards. We got Max, the bartender, who was very personable, very nice. He allowed me to kind of talk with Karen, talk with Wendy, and it was the bar. It's busy, and then daytime bartender, who I'll never know her name, Miss No Personality. She kind of edged her way out, backed out like Homer Simpson to the bushes, right? And off she went. So I'm sure maybe she had a full day, a bad day. I'm not sure. Back to Max. Max was lovely. Philip and I were like, he's hot. We're like, so Max, if you're listening, I don't think so. You were very good looking, and we'll be back to many more happy hours. But the food, Cheesecake Factory's food, is so fucking good. It is so high caloric and delicious.
Yeah.
Honestly,
8,000 calories per plate.
for a mushroom. It's they have these stuffed mushrooms that have a Madeira wine reduction. Oh my God.
But are you happy to see that the caliber or the level of quality in their food has stayed?
Yes and no.
okay.
And that's funny that you asked that. So I asked for a side of ranch dressing.
Uh-oh. His favorite.
So the ranch comes, and I go, I'm like,
That isn't it.
again, this is how Cheesecake Factory has ruined you. And I go, that's not right. The recipe's wrong. I go, or the mayonnaise is bad. There's something it's
Off.
It's off. It doesn't taste like ranch. So then I go, Philip, taste this, right? And he goes, oh yeah, that doesn't, there's something there, right? And I go, oh, whatever. So I put it to the side. So Max, we start talking, and I go, Max, just out of curiosity, I go, have you guys changed your ranch recipe in the past, 5 or 10 years, right? And he goes, I don't think so. So the manager came over, and of course she was super Cheesecake manager. She's like, you have a question? And I said, no, listen, I used to work here many, 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 many years ago.
Many moons ago, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, I think that the dressing doesn't taste right. And she goes, it's very, the mayonnaise. And she goes, well, there is mayonnaise in it, right? She cut me off. And I was like, okay, well, I know.
Like I literally told you I worked here before.
And so then I said, I go, and I don't really see the bits of chives. And she goes, oh, you mean green onions? And I'm like, oh God. So here's, and put a pin in that one, right? I mean,
Yeah.
She Darnella'd you pretty badly.
Yeah.
potato.
Yeah,
I
right,
mean, okay. I got schooled on chives versus green onions. But if you go to New York and you ask for green onions, they go,
say
you mean chives?
Oh.
Which I thought was very interesting. Everywhere on the East Coast that I've ever been and I've ever asked for a green onion, they look at you with a third eye and they're like, you mean chives?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They're all proper about
Yeah.
it. The little.
So it's like, whatever. And so then I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to get anywhere with you. So I'm going to just shut my mouth. I'm like, okay, thanks, right? Let her all walk off on her way.
Again, this is where tripping becomes like really funny and hazardous.
Right?
You just tripped her on her way out.
I should have. So then I ordered a side of blue cheese dressing and balsamic dressing because now
You're sampling.
I'm on the hunt. Because I know for a fact that the ranch was bad,
Yeah.
right? But no one's listening to me, so I'm like, whatever, fine. And so here comes the blue cheese, and I'm like, that's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's right.
Who knew?
You're
Right.
reverting back to when you used to work there. You know they
I
don't pay you
did.
anymore, right?
I did, but
You're
that's
not getting a check.
That's the problem. Cheesecake Factory does it to you because back in the day, you were responsible for all the components of all of the dishes. And then when I became an expediter, you had to cook. You had to know the insides and outs of every single dish. I don't think that exists today. I wouldn't know the training, but I know the training is extremely truncated. I went through like a 3-month training, and I think now it's like 2 weeks or something.
Wow.
So, I'm sure within that of evolving and moving forward, because there's so many of them that are being opened, you've lost some of that art of the professionalism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But to fortify your point, I tested that blue cheese. That recipe was on point. I tested that balsamic vinaigrette. That shit was on point. The ranch was bad,
So
okay?
you threw it across the room.
Yeah, I took it there on Ventura Boulevard. There's ranch strewn everywhere, right?
I wonder if they have like hidden tasters that they hire to go in there to make sure that their food is still good.
But see, even if they did that, like, you'd have to work for Cheesecake Factory.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you'd have to know, like, the nuances of, like, the garlic, and then they replated things. Like, oh, when did you change the plating on that, right? And people were like, oh, God, shut up. And Philip's like, girl, you can't control it. Leave it alone. I go, the ranch is bad, Philip. Like, so, like, then that was stuck in my head. As we were having conversation, he was looking at me, and we're talking, and he goes, girl, get the ranch out of your mind. And I go, I can't. The ranch is bad.
You wanted to go in the kitchen and whip it up.
I did. I wanted to check the mayonnaise. I think it was the mayonnaise.
Ooh.
You know when mayonnaise starts to go rancid? It
Yeah.
has that like kind of like a canola. There's like and I don't know. I mean, unless you actually cook, you'll never know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it has this edge, almost like avocado mayonnaise. I don't know. Whatever. Dana's gonna hate me for saying that, but there is. It was bad. There was definitely something wrong with the ranch. It was not to recipe.
I think you need to stay away from cheesecake
I know.
for the rest of your life. I think
I'm
you've had enough hours there.
Now I know how
then-
Philip felt.
You cannot go back and revert to like, nope, that's not good. They need to change that.
And it's ruined me because you're just like, you're so used to a certain caliber of
Yeah.
ranch dressing, right? So then the next day, I sent Philip a text message, and all I said was, the ranch is bad.
That should be your inside joke, yeah.
It is. Every message is like, girl, the ranch is bad. I left him a voicemail. I said, good morning. I said, just so you know, the ranch is bad. The ranch is bad. But this Bloody Mary is delicious. Thank you to Oprah Chef. We
goodness.
love him. Thank you. So, yeah, I have more shout-outs, but I'll bring them up in the next show because I have a good one. I know maybe you've been watching Karen from Hollywood Bowl, but you're going to get the story in the next episode because I have a lot to talk about. But what we need to talk about, though, is maybe a quick touch on the VP debate. Remember, I'm not political, but I am now. Did you guys get an opportunity to watch the VP debate?
I did not.
Okay. You
Is
didn't.
Louis really on point with research for the show?
Well, we'll just lie and say that he was editing the show.
Which I
did
probably
watch.
was.
Yes.
I
which,
did watch.
Which hopefully you saw the baseball one, which was great and fabulous. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
That was great and fabulous. I think I saw me in the stands somewhere.
Oh, yeah, we did. I had to tell you a lot. We told you not to come, and you came anyways.
Like Carney Wilson, when you were in the corner.
He was in the outfield catching
Waiting.
balls.
That was the joke at the
Like a
talk. Poor
bobblehead.
Carney Wilson.
Oh.
God bless her, love her. She was always fabulous. But let me tell you, she was on speed dial.
Oh, yeah.
The minute somebody got sick, because she lived in the area
Yep.
of the studio,
Yep.
and so if like even when we went to New York, and maybe I've said this story before. God bless Carney Wilson. Again, I'm not being mean, but even when we went to New York, she said to one of our executives, "I just happen to be in New York too. If you have a guest drop out, let me know." I mean, and that was her dedication.
Yeah.
God bless her. But
Whose idea was that?
for what, Carney Wilson?
Yeah.
Probably hers.
She was originally, and I know we were talking about Angelo, so sorry. She was one of the originals being considered to be on the panel for the talk in the beginning. It was like her, Soleil Moon Frye. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Kate and 8 or whatever, the Octomom.
Oh,
like
God.
they were all, because in the beginning of when the talk was in its inception, it was going to be a mom show.
That's right.
So it was all geared towards mothers and, because moms were at home taking care of their kids. Well, the demographic that they wanted. That's not the That's the demographic that they wanted, was stay-at-home mothers whose father worked. Well, that's not the demographic that they got.
No, it's not.
It was, Auntie May and her double wide and all her friends over on the plantation or the not
Trump voters.
Yeah. So let's move on to the ranch was bad. So I interrupted you.
So I've met Carney many times, and I actually have a really good photo of her and I. She wasn't quite camera ready. But still
Shocking.
look good. Still, and she's a
Well, at least we
sweetheart.
have her on
And she
speed dial
is-
if you ever drop out.
Oh yeah. That was good.
All of
I'm
Daniel's
going home.
Yay! Little Louie's up
It's
to
about time, Louie.
up to 2 paragraphs and 3 sentences this season.
He woke up.
Yay.
Cousin Louie woke up.
Yay.
It was a
Little bit.
slow start for all of us. Yeah, the debates. Yeah, wow.
So yeah,
okay.
I watched the debates also too. I thought it was very interesting on how they were very Chippendale. And so what I mean by that is because, if you've ever seen Chippendale cartoon, it's like, no, after you I insist. No, after you I insist. It's just like this respect patronage going back and forth, and then it ends up turning into like, no, I said after you, and it escalates, right? So that's what I felt like it was, because Waltz would say something, and then Tim would say something, and then Waltz would say, well, I agree with you, but, and then, Vance would say, oh, I agree with your point too. So it was interesting to see them like each other.
Yeah.
They did, okay, but they went after their respective bosses. Of course,
course.
Vance went after Harris, and, Waltz went after Trump. So I don't think I never wanted to say this. I think Vance did a better job. I think Waltz got lost on some of his questions. Of course, I am for the Harris side. But, I mean, I don't think it really changed anything, to be honest. Do you think it did?
No,
I don't think it changed anything.
and I agree with you. I think Vance came across much better than people expected. He was informed. He was engaging. He didn't lose his mind and go, act crazy. He didn't talk about, the cats and the dogs being eaten.
Right?
Skirted a few.
They stayed away from that, huh?
Yeah. Walt, I think I was disappointed in the sense that when we've seen him, at least what I've seen, he's enthusiastic and has a big personality and comes across very engaging and familiar, right? He seemed lost on stage.
Yeah.
Kind of like he was
probably was
deer in
nervous.
headlights.
I feel like he was
Yeah, I would
nervous.
be.
I mean, that happens. I mean, God, if you're going to be broadcast in front of millions of people and be asked these hard-hitting questions.
Ask me the pressure I feel every time I'm on this show.
Where were you 3 minutes ago, Angelo?
The pressure Louie and I are under
Yeah.
to make a show work.
Oh, yeah, suck him into it. He doesn't even talk. Hello? He's like Silent Louie. It's a Silent Bob. We have partial Silent Louie.
What our esteemed audience doesn't know is that Louie is much funnier with texting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Well,
We
maybe
need
you
to
should
bring some-
pretend. You should listen to it as if Angelo's talking in message bubbles.
yeah, we should just text each other and read them out loud.
He is funny. He's
Yeah.
yes.
So
For
just-
those of you that don't know, Louis is hilarious. I'm so
Yes.
sorry I interrupted you.
No. So I don't know what I expected. Maybe a little more fire in their bellies. It just felt very like everybody was trying to be too polite.
Yeah, it felt very like I love all your pronouns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, I want to hear.
Yeah.
pea sheet.
This is their one shot.
Yeah.
To come to really be in front of the world.
I thought it was very interesting that they kept speaking to the nation. I loved that about them because whenever they were arguing or talking about their point, there were subtle references to all those watching.
Yep.
To all, and then there was a Vance. He did a really great underhanded. Remember, church and state are separate.
Yeah.
And Waltz was talking about gun control and how someone had gotten shot. He knew them, and then Vance replied with, "Lord have mercy." And I was like, really?
Yeah, and he used that. Let's just get back to common sense, whatever. Managing of problems, and it's like, dude, you've overused that line way too many times.
Yes.
I mean, because there is common sense in a certain amount of things that we do, but when you state it too many times, it kind of gets diluted and lost. But again, I don't know. How much do you think the needle has been moved with the VP's debate?
I don't know. I think the big, for me personally, in that entire debate, I think the one point that where Waltz could have went in on Vance and scored points in the entire of them going back and forth, nobody ever mentioned gay, lesbian, whatever, our community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you expect them to, though?
Well, here's the interesting part. A little bit, because there's a gay everywhere for the most part, or in the community. There's someone in the community somewhere. I think the percentile is like, 4% or whatever. It's very small and minimal. But within that comes a lot of the community has voices and can sway the vote or become and empower people because that's what we do, right? That's what this show is. And so Vance was talking about that's what Trump and I want. We want family. We want to get back to traditional family. And when they were talking also too about in vitro and how it should be funded because we want people to bring family back. I thought that was a great moment for Waltz to sit there and jump in and say, well, what about gay families? Don't they get an opportunity to adopt children? Or what about if it's lesbians that want in vitro or something? Is the state going to pay for that? So I felt like there was a good opportunity to kind of figure that out, if that makes any sense. Of course, it didn't happen. He didn't catch it. And, Vance kept on with his, and of course, people online were like, yeah, family. And I get it. Listen, we wouldn't be here if there weren't breeders. I get that.
But let's think about it. Trump is not the leader in family values. He's not the poster child.
Agree.
I mean, again, what is his, his second wife? Tiffany Trump. I mean, where's Tiffany Trump?
Tiffany Trump.
I mean,
did you see Melania poked her head out?
Marla Maples.
Marla Maples, poor Marla.
I mean, but so this is not a ticket where they're the exemplary example
of the nuclear family.
Of a nuclear family. And somebody asked Trump, what years were you married to Marla? He couldn't answer that. I mean, that was an affair. Born Tiffany, and then
but the sad part is,
Melania.
Meanwhile, there's these, people in Arkansas going, oh, yeah, I don't remember my own wife's anniversary. Trump is just like me. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because he appeals to those folks where it's like, how many teeth do you have? I'm so sorry. That's horrible. It's like, your name is Jack-o'-lantern.
I think I would probably ask the candidates, well, what do you make of the family values of the man who leaves his wife and kids and is actually gay? Then what do you have after that? Now you have a broken up family.
You have Danny's ex-boyfriend.
You have Jessica Simpson's father.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What is going on? We're in biblical times.
But but gays aren't on the radar right now. It's the poor Haitians. Even Trump. I mean, remember when Trump was saying all Mexicans were rapists and murderers and this and that? He's veered away from that.
Yeah.
I mean, so the Haitians sadly are the target. And what is that population? And
but it just goes to show you that he is willing to start a race war amongst whomever.
Yeah.
And the sad part is that they're the lemurs. They're jumping off the cliffs listening to him because, well, Trump said it. So if Trump said it, it must be Bible. And we believe in the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it also, there's so many things in the Bible that you could equate to straight people also too, you know?
Which,
I mean, the
interesting-
Bible is built on molestation.
What's interesting on that point, not the molestation, but the Bible, is that I read where Trump's Bible version of the Bible that he's hawking is now qualified to be in schools.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that so?
What is it though? Is it the King James? Is it the Jehovah's Witness one?
Whatever he's trying to sell on TV, I have no idea what version that is.
It's like, you know, at midnight, it's like the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yep.
But he's trying to hawk everything. And there was that interesting, you brought up this with Melania, there's that interesting tidbit of information, her promoting her book and talking about, have you seen this?
No.
Talking about women's rights. So they have her in black and white. And it's just her. She looks great. I mean, I have to admit, she's pulled together nicely. But she talks
And
about
she opens her mouth.
women. yeah. Women.
I believe in the rights of the women. Okay, sorry, that's horrible. I shouldn't.
Sounds like Jurgen's mother.
Right. I believe my body has choices.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
And that's-
yep.
That's basically, you know, yeah, in a nutshell. But she's
Yep.
just trying to sell books.
Yeah, they all are trying to hawk. You know,
Well, they're the
honestly,
biggest con people I've ever seen in my life.
They're grift. That is the epitome of a grifter.
Yeah.
It truly is, all of them, and they don't realize that what we see.
Yeah.
It's no longer. I don't know. I've never been impressed with Trump because all the gold that glitters isn't gold necessarily, and he's surrounded by gold.
gold-plated.
It's gold plated, and that stuff
gold-plated.
chips if you're not
Oh
careful.
yeah.
Ooh,
Tarnishes.
thank you.
Yeah. So
And yeah, and then like we could go on and back and forth. You know, I think the reality is everybody wants change, no matter which side you're on. If both of our sides could come to some sort of like agreement and
Yeah.
say, okay, yes, this is what we want. It's too bad that it's come to this in terms of electing these two people that we hope are going to move us forward.
Yikes.
You know, I would love to see a woman as a president because I think because I think that's a historical marker and reference. I mean, Mexico has a female president. I mean, they haven't tried to murder her, so that must be working out quite well.
She
You
pays
know?
those cartel good though. You know
I'm
that.
sure. Sure.
But that really may help us here because people can now. It doesn't seem so far fetched.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's
Correct.
And again, Mexico is not the democracy that's modeled, for around the world.
All we can do is vote,
Yeah.
right? Some people I've heard, oh, I'm not going to vote. Listen, quit being a tard. You need to get out and vote. Do it like Danny. I'm going to film my voting process. Can I do that?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to do it. I don't care.
I mean, you could probably film yourself going. I don't think you can film yourself
Inside?
showing who you. Yeah, you can't take.
Well, I don't want to
anything
show
like
you who I voted for.
Yeah. But you could definitely film yourself, I think, in line, and I'm getting ready, and then
yeah.
you can film yourself when you get in the car. I voted.
Yeah.
That I
Okay.
think you can do.
Get my nipple sticker?
Yeah.
I love those
You
things.
just can't be in the voting booth
Recording?
filming.
Well, they won't know. What if I have like a little, I'll wear my long sleeve like this and be like,
Oh God! Now you're going to go to jail. Because
what is
you-
your name, Karen? I'm here to vote.
Oh, goodness.
This is going to be a monumental election. I don't think people really realize just how big this is.
I think it's
it
scary. And in the Middle East and their tumultuous times, I mean, it's,
yeah.
yeah.
I
we could
have
go
a
on.
lot of thoughts on everything.
I mean,
Just stay silent.
Yeah.
yeah, we
It's
should.
just too much.
All we should remember is no matter where you go, the ranch was
It's
bad.
bad.
So, well, listen, we could go on and on and on about this political spectrum, and it really is a spectrum. Wink, wink, wink. Me personally, I never used to be political, but I did vote. It is your civic duty to vote. And what I need people to remember is no matter who you are, what you are, you need to vote. If you have the ability to vote, you should. That is the only way it's going to change. Don't vote for me to change because that's never going to fucking happen. And
don't vote me off.
1-800-555-555. Vote Angela off, number 4.
yeah. He's going to be measure number 33.
It's okay. I still have my Montecito compound.
As we're locked out. Damn it, we make friends with Oprah. Oprah chef. Cheers to her. Him. Thank you.
Him, her.
I've had too much to drink at this point. I'm tired. And I need a nap. So you need to go home and take a nap so that you can vote coming up soon. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Wednesdays Doing It Like Danny. We have more to come tomorrow, or maybe something will come of all of this. I don't know. What the fuck am I saying? Have a great night. Have some fucking fun. And remember to always do it like Danny.